is the Kev Baker Show.
Okay, YouTube, it's Kev Baker here from the Kev Baker Show, and it's Friday, so it's Freaky Friday time, and I'm going to take you into the world of woo early. Guys, I've been covering Cern now for a long time with all the rest of the hosts over on Freaky Friday, the Kev Baker Show, and of course we've had the pleasure of making contact and forming a good working relationship and friendship with the great Anthony Patch. But this story here, this takes it to a new level. Now, this concerns a leading physicist by the name of Albert de Roque. Now, he's actually a staff member at Cern, and he's also a professor at the University of Antwerp in Belgium and UC Davis in California. But not only that, he's the leading scientist on CMS, and that's one of the actual experiments on the LHC collider. Okay, now, this is where it starts to get interesting. Now, he says that they haven't detected any new signs of any new physics just yet. And he goes on to say, and it quotes, "It will take only one significant deviation in the data to change everything," de Roque said. "The upgraded machine works. Now we have to get the real operation for physics." But the work remains to be done. One issue the accelerator physicists remain cautiously aware of, he said, and this is where it gets woo, folks. He said there is a, quote, "unidentified lying object in the pipe of the LHC's 17-mile underground tunnel, a vacuum tube where proton beams collide and scatter particles." An unidentified object, guys, has just appeared in one of the 17-mile underground tunnels where these particles will be smashed. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think if that was me over there, and we get some mysterious object that's just manifesting in a vacuum, I think it needs further investigation, wouldn't you say? Well, let's see what de Roque says, this boffin that he is. He says, quote, "The unidentified lying object turns out to be... the unidentified lying object turns out not to be a problem for the operation. It's just something we need to keep an eye on. It's in the vacuum tube, and it's not a problem if it doesn't move and remains stable." Now, well, what is it then? They don't know what it is, but if it remains stable, I'm wondering if this is the beginnings of one of these almost wormholes, something like that, opening up. We've been talking about gateways opening, portholes, stargates, and now we've got something unidentified turning up in one of the pipes, and they're just going to carry on as if nothing's there, folks. They're just going to cross their fingers and hope it remains stable. Now it says, because the proton beam is sensitive to the geometry of the environment and can be easily blocked, the beam pipe must be free of even the tiniest amount of debris. Even something as large as a nitrogen particle could disrupt the beam, and because the beam pipe is sealed in a vacuum, it's impossible to know what the object, and it's got it in inverted commas, the object is. Now this adds some kind of quantum effect to this, really, doesn't it? I'm wondering if they are actively trying not to observe what this actually is. You see, folks, in this quantum world where they are playing about, trying to create mini black holes, trying to almost reconnect the planets possibly with a plasma connection, you really don't... The quantum world works differently from anything you can imagine. Just merely these guys going and taking a look at what this object is could change its actual state. What I mean is, this could be in some kind of superposition. Now, if this is in some kind of superposition, whatever this object, particle, whatever the hell it is, that means that it's both there in the pipe, but also some of it has popped through into another dimension via quantum tunneling. Now that sounds a bit crazy, but if you go and check out quantum computing and superposition, quantum tunneling, I'm not making this up. And I'm wondering if they're quite happy to have this sealed in a vacuum. Possibly this is something they were waiting to actually see pop into creation or pop into reality in this universe. Absolute insanity, I hear some of you saying. It really isn't. These scientists themselves have talked at length about how they are going to pierce a hole through into the other dimension. And what they're talking about is basically ripping holes through the Higgs field. Remember, they were looking for the Higgs God particle? Well, that's part of this Higgs field that is basically like a veil between our dimension and the next. Really, really deep, important stuff going on underground at Cern, and it has really, really vast implications and consequences for all of us above ground on planet Earth. They really do not know what they are doing there, folks. I really do believe that. And this unidentified lying object, a ULO, well, that just adds more mystery to an already enigmatic riddle wrapped up in a conundrum. You get what I'm coming from, come on. And you know, to add some more woo into this, if it is at all possible, and this is really going out onto the limbs, it's like we're sitting on one of the arms of the sort of the Milky Way. This is right out on the arm of the woo. But this is a story that I missed, and it came on the 13th of April this year, and it says one of the CERN's leading engineers, he actually was part of an accident from Cern Ski Club, and that was when an avalanche took place on a 3,026 metre mountain. Now this 49-year-old Frenchman went on and died, unfortunately, at a hospital, and that hospital was called Sion, S-I-O-N. Now that reminds me of the word Zion, and it also says further down in this article that a 33-year-old Swiss man who lives in Geneva and works at Cern was also injured, and that 33 also is a key number for me. And then we come further down, it says that the avalanche was actually triggered at 11 AM. Another key number in the world of the woo. So, is this some CERN scientists and engineers been taken out? I only bring this up because, you know, if this was a plane crash and we've seen a couple of CERN guys on the passenger manifesto, then we would be saying exactly the same thing. And the fact that this went underreported in the mainstream, and I only came across it on a website called thelocal.ch, makes me wonder if they were trying to, pardon the pun, but bury this story of the avalanche and the engineer dying. But unidentified line objects in one of the pipes at Cern. I couldn't make this up. I don't need to make this up. It's all there in the links down below, and I'll probably be writing an article to go along with this one. Listen guys, thanks for your time. Thanks for putting up with me. Remember, everything I come out with, just my opinion. There's absolutely nothing to back up what I say 100%. But I tell you what, all the stuff I put out there, the data points are there to connect. So I encourage you to go and do your research and prove me wrong, or even better, back me up. So guys, Freaky Friday tonight, and that's from midnight in the UK. Please, please, please tune into one of the fastest growing shows on the whole of the internet. It's unbelievable. I'll be there, the Woo crew will be there, and so will you. Later, YouTube.